Hello, I'm Brian Shove. I'm in Kaiser University Exercise Science program, and I'm in advanced care and prevention of athletic injuries. Today I'm going to be discussing with you the causation, the maintenance, the recognition, and prevention of shoulder impingement. This is the functioning anatomy of the shoulder and the rotator cuff. What you have here is your scapula. On the scapula of the shoulder, you have on the inside of here, which is not shown, is your subscapularis muscle. It attaches to here and continues on over to here onto the humeral head. You then have on the very top here, you have what's known as your supraspinatus muscle. Towards the posterior end, you have your infraspinatus and your teres minor. These all make up the rotator cuff. The primary causes of shoulder impingement are from overuse. Basically using swimming motion, a throwing motion like a baseball, tennis serve, or even chopping wood. Using that overhand motion will often cause a shoulder impingement. Another main reason is muscle imbalance. Basically, your chest muscles get very tight from overuse because those are the ones you primarily see, whereas your infraspinatus and your teres minor in the back of the shoulder tend to be weaker, which then pulls the shoulder forward and out of alignment in the shoulder, causing more rubbing on the supraspinatus and the bursa against the acromion. And also the third major reason is what's known as a type 3 acromion. There are three different types of acromion. Type 1 basically is a much smaller, less curved acromion process, whereas type 2 is slightly more curved and longer. And then your type 3, which is the 60% of people that have the type 3 tend to have shoulder impingements, but it is more curved down and often does require surgery arthroscopic surgery to take some of it down, but it does impinge more onto the bursa. So what exactly is shoulder impingement? Shoulder impingement is basically the inflammation of the bursa, which is a fluid-filled sac that sits in between the supraspinatus and the olecranon process, which is right here. We've discussed about there being 3 grades of olecranon process. This one happens to be a grade 1. But what happens is this fluid-filled bursa in this area becomes inflamed, and what happens is when the shoulder lifts up, it pinches the bursa and the supraspinatus against the olecranon. When this happens due to the instability or the shifting out of the position of the joint, this becomes inflamed and causes pain, and that is what shoulder impingement is. There are several different ways to recognize a shoulder impingement. The 2 primary tests that are used are the Neer test and the Hawkins-Kennedy test. Another one also used is known as the empty can test. I'll go over all 3 of these later in the video. Also 2 other major diagnostic tools that are used to determine severity of injury and shoulder impingement, if not a rotator cuff tear, are also x-rays and MRIs. They can tell whether it's been just inflamed or an actual tear. One of the diagnostic tests we're going to be doing for shoulder impingement is the Neer test. What you're going to want to do is you're going to take your patient, you're going to put your left hand on the scapula, and you're going to internally rotate the arm. You're then going to Use your own power to raise the arm up to vertical extension. If there's no pain, then it is a negative test. The second test for shoulder impingement is the Hawkins-Kennedy test. You take your patient and you take the arm and you take it at a 90-degree angle. You then internally rotate. If there is no pain, then there's also a negative test. One of the exercises you're going to want to do to strengthen your rotator cuff involve bands. What you're going to want to do is you're going to step forward to the point where you have some resistance. You're going to have the band onto your side, and you're going to extend forward and back. You're going to want to do this 20 times in 3 sets. The second exercise you do to strengthen your rotator cuff is you would stand with tension on the band. You would then extend your arm backwards. You would also do this 20 times, keeping it close to the body, and for 3 sets. The third exercise you're going to want to do to strengthen your rotator cuff is internal rotations. You're going to want to keep the elbows close to the body. You're going to internally rotate to your stomach and then back out. You're going to want to do 20 reps at 3 sets. The fourth exercise that you're going to want to do to strengthen your rotator cuff is externally rotating with the bands. You're going to want to start with your arm close to your side, your elbow tucked in, and you're going to want to externally rotate out to the side. You're going to want to do this also for 20 reps and 3 sets. The one other thing that you want to keep in mind is with all of these are not high weight exercises, because then you'll incorporate your accessory muscles and you're not strengthening the rotator cuff muscles. Treatment for shoulder impingement includes primarily rest of the shoulder, not using it, not lifting it. Oftentimes you'll get a brace that prevents such lifting. It will only let the arm go up so high and it wraps around the chest area. Other treatments include non-steroidal anti-inflammatories such as Tylenol and aspirin. Those are over the counter and often given. Whereas a doctor could possibly also give you what's known as a cortisone shot directly into the bursa, the impingement. That tends to be a good option, except for the fact you don't want to continue that, and that does not need to be a continual treatment. That's a one-time thing to kind of get over it, but you don't want to keep putting that into you. Other treatments include on severe shoulder impingements and actual damage to the rotator cuff, primarily the supraspinatus, is arthroscopic surgery, where they actually take 3 little arthroscopic holes and put a camera and tooling in and a flush, and basically go in on a camera, and you can take a look at the inside, and with a minimal opening of the shoulder, go in and cut out inflamed tissue, and actually even grind down the acromion process like I spoke of earlier to prevent further impingements. Other prevention possibilities include good shoulder warm-ups before events and working out, the strengthening and muscle balance, basically working the back shoulder more, and the also doing the exercises that I'd explained earlier with the bands, and basically there's been a lot of research that says that plenty of rest and anti-inflammatory diet have actually been known to prevent reoccurrence. So I thank you for listening to this project.